Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I read a powerful poem this week that gave me pause. And I thought that it was perfectly timed in relation to the Jewish calendar and this Shabbat, this moment that we are in right now. It's called A Psalm of Light and Dark, and it was written by Rich Orloff. He writes, "Sometimes I'm terrified to turn on the light. There's comfort in darkness. It's cool and soothing. Light reminds me I'm not in control. What if the light is blinding? What if the rays pierce my eyes? What if I see things I can never forget and I don't really want to know? Don't tell me I might see beauty. That's a theory, not a fact. To shut my eyes, all I know to be true is the darkness that's become my friend, that whispers to me, trust me, I'm always going to be here waiting for you. So I'm going to keep my eyes shut for a while, and if you see me open them for a moment, please be kind. There's so much information in every single image that I might be overwhelmed and tempted to close my eyes again and turn out the light and shut the door and get under the covers till the darkness becomes so incredibly, relentlessly, inescapably boring that I'll just have to see the light again." So here we are on December 20th, time of sunset, 4:14 p.m. Yep, tonight, or this morning, I should say, at 4:21 a.m., will mark the winter solstice, the shortest and the darkest day of the year. There are mind-blowing connections to where we are on the Jewish calendar today and tonight as well. Today was the 19th of Kislev, historically known in the Hasidic world as Yom Chilulah, a day of desecration, the anniversary of the death of the Maggid of Mezrich, the successor of the Baal Shem Tov. And today, this Shabbat, we also read from Parashat Vayeshev, the portion of descents and darkness. When we hear of Joseph being thrown into a pit by his brothers, presumably dead, and his father Jacob, who from that day forward vows to mourn him for the rest of his life until he himself descends to the underworld. And we hear the dark stories of Tamar, her prostitution, and Potiphar's seduction. And Parashat Vayeshev ends with Joseph cast down again into the royal dungeon. In a way that only the Jewish calendar can be brilliant, this portion also falls on either the Shabbat before Hanukkah or on the very first Shabbat of Hanukkah. Our Jewish tradition inextricably links light and darkness, one rolling into the other, one being created from the other. While dwelling in a moment of darkness, as the poet Rich Orloff writes, eyes closed, light off, door shut, under the covers, in this dark moment, what can we learn? Well, let's start with Adam, who has, well, as the very first human, a very human response to darkness. As written in the Talmud, Adam, at the end of the sixth day of creation, sees the light of day diminishing for the first time and cries out, "Woe is me! Perhaps because I have sinned in the Garden of Eden, the world is growing darker and darker. It will soon return to chaos, and this will be the death of me." So narrow-minded, with no experience to know the difference, Adam cannot think beyond himself. The Talmud teaches that Adam sits and prays and fasts for 8 days at this time. But when the winter solstice arrives and he sees that the days are getting gradually lighter, he says, this is the way of the world. And can you guess for how many days he then proceeds to celebrate? 8. In the following years, he observes both the 8 days leading up to the solstice and the 8 days after. Adam dwells in each moment of these 8 days of time, 8 days of darkness, 8 days of light, realizing that yes, each time is worthy, and each time will be fleeting as it turns into the other. According to the Talmud, Adam is the originator of the solstice festivals that last for 8 days. To his credit, he realizes it is not his doing that has brought about the creation of light and darkness, but rather it is God's creation that is worthy of observance and celebration. According to our sages, Adam sets the stage for the miracle of the Hanukkah lights. In Genesis Rabbah, the Midrash on the book of Genesis, there is another story about Adam on the 6th day of creation as the sun is setting. Adam becomes terrified, just as in the first story. So God, out of compassion, shows him 2 flints, which he strikes together, creating his own light to illuminate the darkness. Even in the natural order of darkness, God gives us the wisdom, the power, the creativity, and the skill to create light when we really need it. In both rabbinic stories, humankind comes to appreciate the light in response to experiencing the darkness. Growth, transformation, and renewal can often only take place in a moment of transition from one state to the other. According to the rabbis, we only know what light is because we have experienced the dark. And at that same moment that we experience the darkest day, in the next instant, the shift towards light begins. Tonight, I mentioned sunset is at 4:14 p.m. I looked it up. Tomorrow, sunset is at 4:15 p.m. 1 minute difference. But I bet you, as each day comes, we will feel the difference. And if this week the Torah portion is about descents, well, next week it is one of liberation. The name of the portion, Miketz, even means sometime after, and follows Joseph as he is freed from prison, interprets the Pharaoh's dreams to rise to become his second in command. Let us not forget that our rabbis had a choice to make when it came to the ritual of the lighting of the menorah. Rabbi Shammai said that we light 8 candles the first night of Hanukkah and decrease the numbers in light each night. And Rabbi Hillel, whose custom we follow, had the opposite approach. Just like this time of the winter solstice, that we emerge from the darkness, kindling more and more light each day. In this way, from the wisdom of our tradition, we learn not to fear the darkness, but rather to live in it while it lasts, to learn from it. Light isn't the only place that we experience meaning or even comfort. Darkness has its place too, and it doesn't last forever. In fact, we learn from the creation story that it is from this darkness that we experience or come in to light. And so in these last few hours before the light begins to increase, breathe into it. Try to relinquish your fear. Listen to the stillness. Hear what it has to teach you. for it won't be long before the light returns. Chag Urim Sameach. I wish you all a Hanukkah filled with light, and Shabbat Shalom.
Light is returning, even though this is the darkest hour. No one can hold back the dawn. Let's keep it burning. Let's keep the light of hope alive. Make safe our journey through the storm. Banu choshech legarish, beyadenu or va'esh. Kol echad hu or katan, vechulanu or eitan. Surah choshech al hashchor, surah mibnei ha'or. Surah choshech al hashchor, surah mibnei planet is turning, circle on her path around the sun. Earth Mother is calling her children home. Banu choshech legarish, beyadenu or va'esh. Kol echad hu or katan, vechulanu or eitan. Surah choshech al hashchor, surah mibnei ha'or. Surah choshech al hashchor, surah mibnei ha'or. Surah choshech al hashchor, surah mibnei ha'or. Surah choshech al hashchor, surah mibnei Mibnei ha'or, mibnei ha'or.